There are so many small projects that go into building out a camper van that could easily go unnoticed, but when put together, it's these small touches that deliver the magic. So let's take a look today at some of the smaller things we've been up to. Alright guys, welcome back to my garage, and today I want to show you what we've been working on. So we've got some future projects here that are going to be obvious pretty much the second you see them. For example, this is a rear tailgate hitch. It's foldable, and it's going to go on the back of my van. The only problem is when I went to put it on, I realized that the hitch on the back of my van was made in someone's garage, and that just doesn't seem safe. So for now, it's just kind of sitting here. The next thing I got is a brush guard for obvious reasons. Oops, should not have gotten into that car accident, but you know. Once my van is all fixed up, we'll be throwing that bad boy on there. This right here is an awning. It's an ARB 2500 by 2500. Gonna be kind of nice, and we're gonna be making some brackets. Well, I say we, you know exactly who's gonna be making those brackets. Last thing that I've been working on, and this one was me, I can say I for this, are these side panels here. So, if you guys remember a long time ago, I took some wood and cut some side panels. I haven't actually made that video yet because these aren't done. However, I didn't like the color that they were. This wood, it just didn't really go with anything. So I bought some vinyl on Amazon and we glued it down to the boards, and they look so much better. A lot closer to that, that paneling down there on the floor right now. So, let's head over to the van and I'll show you what we've been up to. Alright, so the first thing that we've updated is every one of these door handles and locks. And this is quite a story. So a little while ago, I went over to Adam's house complaining about my door handles. I wanted each one of my handles to match one key so I didn't have to carry around so many keys to open up my van doors. Plus, the keys that I had were getting a bit worn down, and I wanted to update those as well. So Adam started taking apart my door handles and seeing if we could clean them up, make them work better, and potentially rekey them to fit one key. So we've gone ahead and removed the door handle, and while we're doing it, we've noticed that it needs to be cleaned out. It needs to be taken care of. So Adam is currently working on making a punch so that we can get this pin in here to pop out. Adam spent quite a decent amount of time grinding this punch down in his lathe. He was trying to shape the punch so that it was 1.35 millimeters, as the pin inside the door handle was about 1.40. Only problem was when he actually went to start beating the punch into the handle, the metal arms that actually engaged the door lock broke off. Uh-oh. Welp.
Well, we really gotta figure out how to do that. Figure out how to replace that.
So, instead of trying to deal with fixing those broken door handles, they were all old and messed up anyway, I went ahead and ordered myself new door handles around the van anyway. So we got those two there, and then we got this one here, and I even purchased a new rear hatch lock. Only thing is, I purchased it from Go Westy, and Go Westy sent me this one. Now, I didn't realize that before, and I used this lock to rekey the rest of my handles. So all the handles will work with the same key, and they were customized using the key that came with this. It was only after that that I realized this is not the latch for an 82 Vanagon. This is for an 85 onward. So I told Go Westy that, and they ended up sending me the right one, but now I already have them rekeyed. So I'm gonna have to go do that again. Great. Now, before I got these new locks though, Adam spent a little more time with my door lock mechanisms, as the door handles weren't the only culprit in these things not working properly. Alright, so as for this door here, this lock has always given me problems. I'm trying to lock it and unlock it now. I can't push it down Can't pull it up. So it looks like Adam's gonna take this apart real quick and see what's going on in here. First thing he did was remove the mechanism, took them apart very carefully, submerged them in kerosene to clean them up, and then he put them back together. He did this with both my passenger and driver's side doors, and this did a lot for the locking issues that I was having. What? Excuse me? Oh, that's cool.
So, the door has to be closed.
Okay. Okay.
Once you close it, then you can lock it from the inside with the door closed, no problem.
That's some bullshit.
But you have to use the key if you want.
That's ridiculous. But I mean, I get it. You know, that does make sense. It makes sure you don't lock yourself out of the van. Now that the door lock mechanisms have been cleaned up and put back together, my van was another step safer. Right after that project was done, I purchased my new door handles, had a locksmith key them to the same key, and it was time to move on to the next project. Now, the next update is this gorgeous center console. So, actually, you can take this tray out here for the cup holders and just put whatever you like in there. You got a phone holder, and then it's got a combo lock, and then inside you can keep some storage. And it's actually just bolted to the sides here, which is kind of nice. Now, I actually had to update the seat belts in order to get this to actually work. The old seat belts were rigid hard metal, and they'd brush up against these, and then I couldn't move my chair back and forth. And it was kind of nice, you know, updating the seatbelt system is good anyway, you know. Like to make sure I have that extra measure of safety while I'm on the road. Now, along with that, these were the old rollers for the chair. Essentially, these let you recline, which that's pretty cool, but they would also rub up against the seat belts. So that's why I got these. But these things, if you want the OEM part, these are specific Vanagon rollers. These are $10 a piece. I was like, what? No, I'm not doing that. And I actually went and got some, these ones on AliExpress. And then because they were too thin, so I'll actually demonstrate this. Let me see if I can get the camera to, okay. So you see how much space, how much clearance you have in there. There's actually this indentation right in the center, and that's because of this screw right here. That screw, I mean, these ones were so thin, I actually had to cut a hole into this thing to get it in there properly. And you'll see that on the other side as well. Alright, so obviously a lot of small updates have been happening with the van, and honestly they're so small I didn't really need to record the process. Putting new seat belts in is as easy as removing old bolts and popping the new ones into place. These seat rollers also are just pop and go, but there is one project that I did that I'm very proud of and I want to take you through right now. Okay, so you guys probably know what this thing is. If you don't, it's the rear hatch for the engine bay. There is this ugly, thick coat of rubber over this thing that I could scrape off with chemicals, like I could use kerosene, but I asked Adam what I should use to try to strip this off, and he said dry ice. So I went and bought a bag of dry ice. I'm gonna throw it on top of this thing and try to crack this thing off of here. And then I'm gonna take the rest of the laminate that I have and put the strips over this so that it matches my floor. So then this hatch will look great. So let's see how this goes. Alright. Regardless, this is gonna be fun. But I'm not sure how well this is gonna work. Ah! Shrapnel everywhere! The most time-consuming part of this whole project had to be this part. See, the reason Adam told me to use dry ice was because as the ice froze the rubber on top of this engine bay cover, the rubber would shrink and eventually end up so brittle that it would just pop off. I spent a lot of time breaking up the dry ice and covering the lid, and as I did, I could hear the rubber whining and cracking, which told me that it was time to start going at it with the hammer. After a couple hours of shifting dry ice around the hatch lid and breaking the ugly rubber off, the lid was now ready for step 2. Alright, so after spending some time with this thing, there's still some spots that I need to get ungunked, and I think I'm gonna have to sand down the rest of this, but for the most part this is done. The plastic actually came off really easy once the dry ice was on there. I just got to figure out how to get the rest of this off and clean it away. So I'm gonna go figure out how to do that. I racked my brain on this for a little bit, but eventually I thought about melting the rest of the plastic off the lid. So I took a blowtorch and a putty knife and went to work. After that I used some Goo Gone and sprayed the hatch down. I was really surprised with how well the Goo Gone removed the rest of the rubber film, along with a bit of sanding to really clean it up. After wiping the residual Goo Gone off the top, my hatch was looking relatively brand new, besides a few hammer marks. Kinda strange, not sure how those got there. After painting it up, I removed the old sound dampener that was inside the lid. I then spray painted the inside, applied this sound dampening rubber mat that I had left over from sound dampening my van, and then I took some EVA foam and shaped it to replace the old sound dampening foam that had been in there since the early 80s. This hatch lid had gone from being one of the ugliest parts of my van's interior to one of my favorite projects, and it wasn't over yet. There was still one more thing that I had to do to really complete this project. Okay, do you remember that laminate that I put on my side panels so that they'd match the floor? Well, I grabbed some more of that and wrapped it around my hatch as well. This was time consuming, but in the end, it looked beautiful and it really added a lot to the wooden theme when the van's finally put together. This is certainly not all the projects that we've completed recently. Some of you may have noticed this beautiful new steering wheel in my van. This is easily my favorite project so far, and if you'd like to see this project, I'll leave a link to Adam's channel where it's currently uploaded. Thank you guys so much for checking in. I know I've been saying for months that there's only a few more projects to go, but I want to make sure everything is done before I take off. Breakdowns will happen while I'm out there, I already know that, but I may as well try to iron everything out while I have Adam here to help me. Seriously, I couldn't have done this without him. Thank you all so much. I can't tell you what it means to me that you're watching these videos. I'll see you all next time.